Hi, friends and fellow Earth Angels. It's Gladys, and welcome back to my weekly Sunday card reading. And this spread will cover August 18th to the 24th, or whenever you're guided to watch, as these readings are always intended to be timeless. So, the last couple weeks, I've just been guided to envelop play energy, joyful energy. The sacral chakra energy has been really dominant these last couple weeks, and it is your joy, your pleasure. So I designed a reading this week around playful energies and to lighten the mood. That was the message that I got when I was standing in front of my multiple decks, was lighten the mood, bring a lighter energy into, because a lot of the readings lately have been, I don't want to say heavy, but really kind of deep and to the point. So I kind of want to play with different energies today. So I am going to start with Oracle of the Unicorns. And then I have the Children's Spirit Animal cards. And then the Cherub Angel cards for children. And then I have the Divine Dog Wisdom cards. And I'm going to finish up with the Gateway Oracle cards, an affirmation or an energy to take into the week. So my intention is to lighten the mood. And I also, too, just in case, I don't know, I was guided to pull out the Crystal Angel deck. I just don't know if I'll use them. We'll see if I need extra clarifiers. So this week, we're still in this full moon in Aquarius energy. The full moon brought in a lot of realization, seeing true colors, things we want, things we don't want, things we're tired of, things we want to gravitate towards. The energy may be difficult, around you. So remember that you're a beacon of light, and always remind yourself to connect to creator or source when you're feeling separate, or you're feeling that ego rear up, or that the difficulties, or even like the self-criticism. If you're being hard on yourself, any degree of playfulness and lightening the mood can help shift that. So let's start with the unicorn cards. I want to open up space first by inviting in all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, God, source, creator of the universe, and all his holy beings of light who would like to assist with this guidance for you today. And I'm going to ask that the messages that come through be for your best and highest good, and the best and highest good of all those watching. All right. Let's see. Okay, unicorns, lovely, majestic unicorns. What message do you have for the collective this week? All right. Leadership. Step into your leadership. Share your message. Inspire and empower others. I love that. Such a beautiful card here. Of course, I see the emerald green, which reminds me of Archangel Raphael. The yellowish energy in here could be the energy of Jesus. It could also be, I'm picking up on Angel Uriel. Uriel is the angel of emotions. I just did a pick a card reading, and if you stay to the end of this video, you'll see the link on the screen at the end of the video to the pick a card reading. It was pick a card for health and healing, and this is the embodiment of the energy that I saw in that reading. So leadership. So one of the messages that I've been guided or channeling lately is God is using earth angels to be the example and to be the beacon of light. And I feel like this is a message from the divine coming in and saying we are so grateful you're open to this, the challenges on the journey right now. because the people around you are observing and they're watching, whether you know or not. And God is about to impose his miracles upon you, his shifts, his changes. So if you've been waiting for something, or you've been going through a healing process that's been difficult or challenging, I almost feel like God is saying that your miracle is on your way, especially Archangel Raphael. He's the angel of miracles. So for a very long time, earth angels, that's caregivers, healers, light workers, highly sensitive people, empathic people, we've been really good at knowing how to help people and be of service. In about 2013, that energy started to shift and we started to pull back. It was kind of like that what about me energy. And the collective has been in this metamorphosis where we're working towards balance. We're working towards balance and being natural caretakers and caregivers and people of service, but finding the self-care balance within. And so now more than ever, creating some type of regular practice where you're connecting with the divine, because it's very easy to get pulled outside of that, to get pulled into like that sleeper world. The world is heavy right now. And I think it's just part of the metamorphosis. I don't really label it as good or bad. It's just part of the expansion and growth. And sometimes things have to be broken down for them to be built back up again. And I feel like this leadership card is coming forward to those who are watching this video, that God is about to, or he has been watering the seeds that he gifted you when your soul decided to come here on this planet. And stepping into your leadership role, inspire and empower, share your message, step into your leadership. So I'm getting like an image of like the flowers. So actually it's like spring rain. So this spring, here in New England, we had a lot of rain. And I noticed that every time it rained, like the Mother Nature would just explode. Like the grass would be greener and the flowers were coming out and everything was like growing in abundance. And I want you to kind of take that visual, because I feel like after August energy, I feel like this is what God will be imposing. He'll be watering those seeds and it'll be like miracle grow. So he needs you to remind you to connect, to open up, to receive that divine light on a regular basis, because you're about to step into leadership, not necessarily like I'm the boss and I have to take on more responsibilities. It's like being the example. It's how you move through challenges. It's how you show up to adversity. It's how you dig in your own shadow work and your own healing. And then what's going to happen is many of you will teach that and share that. There's this Archangel Zadkiel came in last week twice, and he's all about teaching and learning and compassion. So we've been in this place of observance. And I feel like this message is to remind you to stay connected, call on Creator, and he will guide you. He will download you with the information to show you how to, or assist you in how to be a beacon of light. So he's getting ready to use us to be the miracle, to be the example in a powerful way, because it's almost like people need to see. They can't be told anymore. I say it's the sleeper world. It's like they can't be told. And, there's a lot of addiction. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of judgment. There's a lot of, we're all in and out of that space. But it's through that we get to rise up and shift. So I feel like a lot of you right now are in this metamorphosis. And that's why I feel like God says, I know how hard you've been working, so I want to lighten the mood and bring joyful things to you. Again, I've been talking about the orange cars the last couple weeks, and of course they're still there. They're like, just make me giggle every single time, because it is ridiculous how many orange cars I've seen. And that's in your vibration. It's really a perfect example of like what is on your mind will consistently come up. So if your mind is on a negative or a problem, something like that will just keep coming up over and over again, and it's a reminder for you to pull back and kind of connect with God and Creator. Okay, so let me go into the animals. Let's see what the animals have to say this week. The children animals, what message do you have for the collective this week? 18th to the 24th. this one. Ooh, stand up for yourself. Wow. Leadership, stand up for yourself. That is, I love the bear energy. The grizzly bear, this is a black bear, but the grizzly bear is a power animal of mine. And I've just loved enveloping myself in the energy. So you also got like a mama and a baby here too. So that could be symbolic for some of you. Stand up for yourself. This full moon that came in really brought true colors, personalities to the surface for you to see so that you can make the best decisions for yourself. You know that quote that says, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them? That has been what this full moon has brought up. And, you know, we're starting to see how people that, like, how do I say it? So in my practice, I'm seeing a theme when I'm working with clients of I want to say being taken advantage of, but there's ownership in that. You know, there's ownership in also to like you're giving and giving and giving, and there's another end that's receiving. There comes a point when it becomes like lopsided and it's not mutually supportive. And so this full moon brought up in a very clear way what is not mutually supportive. It's about giving and receiving. So some of you may have to stand up for yourself and take that leadership role and say enough. Conserve your energy, protect yourself, but I don't mean like in an attack kind of way, but conserve your energy. If you're tired, if you need more play and laughter, I feel like this card is coming up to say, share that. Be the leader in practicing self-care, having fun, joy, and laughter, and be the example. Some of you may have to set some boundaries. And that's, you know, communication is not always an easy thing, especially when earth angels tend to shy away from conflict and adversity. It's almost like we just want to run and hide. Like, we don't want to, you know, ruffle feathers, which is why we fall into that people pleaser mode. It's a very common thing with earth angels. But then it comes to a point when like enough is enough. And I feel like the bear energy is coming in to remind you that it's okay to stand up for yourself. It's okay for you to protect your inner child too. So some of you may need to be a leadership and stand up in a role of protecting your inner child. I did set the intention of playfulness, and I do have like the child energy here with like the unicorns and the children's card. So this may be a message for some of you to connect with your inner child. That inner child may not be feeling safe, may need extra love and hugs, especially if you've been hard on yourself lately. Now, I have to say, I certainly can be guilty of that. It's been a challenging few weeks for myself as well. So I can relate if some of you out there are feeling that. But remember, if you're about to get inundated with a wave of gifts and blessings, any low vibrational energy, and I don't mean like it's not a good or bad thing, but any low vibrational energy, any negativity that's around you can certainly distract you from your goals, from your vision, from feeling happy, feeling good. So this week, really be mindful of how you're giving and receiving. Be mindful of how you're taking care of your own inner child and finding time for laughter and play. And everybody's degree of laughter and play is different. So some of you, your joy might be reading a romance novel. It may be gardening. It may be going and taking a walk by the ocean or in nature. Everybody's degree of play is different. So I would love for you to explore that this week. Like, how can you find pockets of time for play? Now, I think I mentioned in another video that lately I've been listening to comedy. I love Netflix, and I don't tend to watch a lot of TV, but things have just kind of been challenging. So, I kind of go to that external to lighten the mood, and I'm reminded of how good it feels to laugh. I'm reminded, especially with comedy, they say the truth in funny ways. So it's a really fun way to laugh about things that are serious, but being able to lighten the mood and remind yourself that it's going to get better. And I have to say, every time I'm done watching like a comedy show, I just feel good. Maybe it's watching a comedy movie, or maybe it's listening to some really fun music. Now, I can't say enough about soca music. When I'm really feeling like heavy and I need a shift, I'll turn on soca music and I'll kind of just dance around, and it really just kind of gets that feminine energy moving in me. So I feel like that's coming up for this week. Okay, let's see. Let's get into the children's, I think. Okay, so there's one that fell out. I want to pull another one. Children's. Message do you have for the collective this week? All right. Let's start with this one. Sharing makes everything more fun. Exactly. Look at this, and she's got this beautiful halo around her. So sharing, this is that part of giving and receiving mutually supportive relationships. I cannot say enough how important it is to have people in your life that you can lean on, that you can support on, who have your back. There's a difference between being dependent on someone and being able to depend on someone. We really want to move towards creating relationships where we can depend on somebody, meaning like no matter what happens in the world, we know that they've got our back. We know that the friendship is solid. We know that the relationship or the partnership is solid. And a lot of people have kind of been shifting away from that. And maybe some of you out there are feeling alone. Maybe you're feeling like nobody understands you or gets you. I was in that place a couple years ago, and I prayed a lot. And I asked God to send me mutually supportive people in my life, in my personal life. And I'll tell you, it's been amazing. It's been an amazing journey. And with these people that have come into my life, I have just learned so much more about myself. I've learned how to be a good friend. I've learned how to communicate. I've learned how to show up and share, because I've kind of been a loner for a long time. So I feel like this message, sharing makes everything more fun, means like it's got to go back and forth. It's got to be mutually supported. And we have to remember, we can't always expect those things from people that we've been giving to over and over and over again. We can't just flip the script and say, okay, I'm not going to give to you anymore, because setting a boundary will do that, but it may cause some adversity and some challenges. But that's where you've got to stand up for yourself. That's where you got to kind of stand in your leadership role. And it really is, get busy doing the things that you want to do. It's not calling everybody up and saying, hey, your energy no longer serves me. I don't want to be your friend anymore, or your partner anymore. It's about getting busy doing the things that you want to do with mutually supportive people. And of course, the sleep and rest came up. So this is a message for some of you who are feeling this energy. Again, the full moon, and we've literally been spit out of this Mercury retrograde, eclipse, retrograde, planetary stuff with the moon as well. So I can't even tell you how much my support system has been tired. I have been tired. So sleep and rest. This will give you, especially if you're feeling confused about what to do and how to stand up for yourself, if your intuition has been, you've been feeling like off a little bit, sleep and rest, it will be amazing. And again, that includes the play and the laughter. Mutually supportive relationships. Do things, go out dancing with a friend, or do something that creates more fun. And I'll tell you, if you're in a lower vibrational state of like overwhelmed and burden and like, yeah, that would be nice, but how do I get myself there? It's like baby steps. Like I said, turning on some soca music or some island music or some reggae music or some music that's designed. I also used to love, I haven't listened to it in a while, reggaeton music. It's just that Latin music to get you moving. Like sometimes it's like just starting with a baby step step. And then when you're in that vibration and you feel like going good, saying, God, more of this in my life, or something even better. Bring me people, places, things, and ideas. And you kind of light yourself up, but you're lighting yourself up from the inside out. And that is really how you become magnetic and draw more of that energy to you. All right, so let's get into the doggy energy. All right, doggies. That was easy. What message do you have for us? Wild dog. Answer the call. I love it. So maybe this is a message to get a little wild. Answer the call. I'm going to peek at the book on this one too. So I haven't used these cards in a while. And they're relatively new. Let me see what this wild dog says. Where are you, friend? It says, so here's the book. It says, if you fetched this card, it's time to unleash your wild side. Yes, talk about play. So if you've been in have to and should mode, if you've been in goals and action and steps, this card is saying release your wild side. It says perhaps this means roaming wide open spaces, not following old rules, boundaries, or conventions. It says somewhere in your life you're being asked to show up and explore territory beyond your daily routine and comfort zone. A wild card presents a new open yard or sand pile to dig in. Will you give yourself permission to take off your tight collar and answer the call? I love it. Play. Maybe it's going outside and playing in the mud. Maybe it's, pulling out your child's slip and slide or the sprinkler and going running through that. Maybe it's one of my favorite, and it's easy to do, is bubbles. Like anything that can, spark that inner child of play. Last night I did a group reading. There were 16 beautiful women at this group, and one of the girls I was guided to share like coloring and doing a mandala and invoking that playfulness in color and creating imagination and play. Like, you're never too old to play. Maybe some of you are lucky enough to have children or grandchildren that are young enough that you can play and get into the imaginative. But again, if you've been in that old routine, loosen the collar and invoke the wild dog. Or if you're not even sure how that works, call on God. Ask him to show you. You'd be amazed. I love it. All right, let's finish. 3, 4, 2, 3. Let's finish with, I love how it all unfolds. The gateway card. Okay, an intention for the week, an intention and a message. What do we need to know for the week? What affirmation, intention for the week that we can invoke? Oh, there we go. Oh. Mending bridges. So the message says, I heal rifts. I am a mender. Beautiful. Talk about like a beautiful anchor, like in between the leadership and mending bridges. So I feel like this is where you're going. And this energy is like how to get there. Stand up for yourself, mutually supportive relationships, rest, sleep, good self-care. Get a little wild, whatever that means to you. I'm not condoning any illegal behavior at all whatsoever, but get a little wild, step outside of your comfort zone, do things that you may not have done before, because this is who you are. You are a person who mends bridges, you heal rifts, or a mender. And really, I feel like it's a person of service. It's a caregiver, a person who can come in and problem solve. And remember, we want to comfort, support, teach, and inspire people. So have a little fun while you're doing it. Let me see. I just want to tap into this a little bit more. So I'm being guided to see the two faces right here. And we were talking about the inner child earlier. This may be a message for some of you who feel like a tug of war or torn inside. Maybe your inner masculine and feminine are at odds. So this is very feminine energy: play, sleep, rest, recharge, regroup, gather together with friendships. And the masculine energy can be all about like structure and order and rules and discipline and money and finances and building and growing. So there's all these things that is a beautiful part of the masculine energy. And I'm feeling guided to really invoke that balance energy again, a balance between your masculine and feminine. So, the leadership and the mending bridges, even within yourself, is part of the work. It's part of the caregiver work. But this could be a really great way for you to open up your heart to enhance your own intuition for guidance on for when you're playing and you're in a space of laughter, especially my creative friends out there who are watching. When you're in a place of heaviness, it is really hard to get into that creative vibe, especially if you're growing and expanding businesses, coming up with creative ways to solve problems, especially if you're working on something. I know many of you may be working on books or classes or your healing practice or your intuition, and there's a lot that's developing, and it's easy to get caught up in these have-tos and shoulds. And I feel like right here, the universe is reminding you to have fun, to take a step back, go out in nature, and that will supercharge your intuition and your energy to get downloads. That's been happening a lot for people lately. They've been getting downloads, but not necessarily sure what to do it, or they've been feeling like they're on the cusp of something and it's just not happening. So I feel like this mending bridges also too is to connect with your inner child, for stability and safety, for laughter, play. Your inner child needs to know that it can depend on you too. He or she can depend on you too. And I feel like there may have been like this disconnect. So take care of yourself. Take care of those parts of you that need love and hugs. I've definitely been in that space where I've needed extra hugs, and I've been, a little more nurturing to myself, getting extra sleep, just slowing down and being hyper vigilant of how I'm feeling and how I'm moving. So I think that's an important thing. Also, too, this goes with standing up for yourself, mending bridges. Sometimes it is separation. So I'm just connecting here. So when I think about the bridge here, a bridge is a way to get from one side to another that would otherwise be blocked. So I also feel like you may be in a space of working on your own bridge to get from one side to another. And there may be some holes and cracks in the foundation. And so if you have people in your life who are going to take a jackhammer to your foundation, and again, it's no judgment, it's just the space that people are in. If you have that in your life, or if you've started to build and it hasn't been like the absolute integrity, or, sometimes we say like, we can't build a house on sticks, right? There has to be a really solid foundation. I'm feeling like relationship stuff is coming up, and it's for you to like heal those things, whether it's like you separate and move away from, or you have open communications and share your needs and what's going to be mutually supportive for you to mend those bridges so that you can easily get from like one side to the other. Otherwise, there would be like a roadblock and it would seem like impossible to get to the other side. So you can even call on God and ask Him to mend your foundation, or mend any hiccups or bumps or challenges in a relationship. Pray, pray, pray. Cannot say that enough. All right. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say. So thank you so much for watching. I just did a few pick a card readings, and they will be on the screen at the end of this video along with my subscribe button. If you watch this video and it may not have resonated with you so much, but you know somebody who needs to hear these messages, please share it with them. This is for everybody, and my intention is that anybody who needs this guidance is guided too. So please share if you're guided. Let me close space by thanking all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, God, source, creator of the universe, and all his holy beings of light who assisted with this guidance for you today. And I'm going to ask that any healing that was started continue for as long as it needs to be done. Thank you to the animal energy. Thank you to the unicorn energy. And of course, thank you to your inner child energy. All right, friends. So if nobody's told you or you haven't heard it in a while, I love you. Thank you so much for watching. God loves you. Trust your intuition, trust the divine, and I send you love with heavenly hugs. Bye for now.